Hi, I'm David Fox, Biotech patent lawyer in Houston. In this video, we're going to learn some facts about trademark law. There are a number of misconceptions about trademark law, so I'd like to go through some of those because they can be very helpful, and if you don't know about them, they can cause penalties and even fines and other issues. So these are very serious issues. The only time that you can use an R with a circle around it is when the United States Patent and Trademark Office has examined an application for one and has issued a valid certificate that you own that trademark. If you use it falsely, it's considered a false and misleading advertising, and you don't want to get into that situation. An interesting part of trademark registration is the Patent Office looks at individual terms in a trademark application separately and together. For example, Minute Maid Stadium. Minute Maid almost certainly has a registered trademark on Minute Maid, but I'm almost certain that they do not have a registered trademark on Stadium alone. So the term Minute Maid Stadium would be registered subject to a disclaimer that Minute Maid does not own the registration on Minute Maid Stadium. Another interesting topic is logos. All registrations for trademarks can be geographically limited. For example, if you only use your mark in Louisiana, you may only have the territory or the state of Louisiana for exclusivity. But if you have a mark that you use all over the country and all over the world, these can be very, very strong marks. And two good examples are McDonald's and Starbucks. They're called Siren Marks in the sense that people come to them. If your name is Joe McDonald, you cannot open a restaurant called McDonald's Grill. You simply can't, because the association between McDonald's and anything is so strong that it would be confusingly similar. Another example is Starbucks with a very distinctive green round symbol. There was a recent case on that where a company, they were only open about 2 weeks because they shut them down. And the symbol was extremely close, but it wasn't the same. And the federal court held that it was so confusingly similar, even though you knew it wasn't the same, that it was a trademark infringement. The key test of whether something is a registerable trademark is whether it is confusingly similar to another trademark that is already registered. And it's based on a temporal thing. So you want to register your trademark before somebody else does, so you can get prior use rights. And there is a time frame that if somebody's been using a certain name for many, many years, even if they haven't registered it, the trademark office can say it's become a common use. More about trademarks is like patents. When the patent office issues you a registered trademark, you need to mark your registered term with the R circle, because that is telling people that you are registered, if you do it legally, if you have the right. And that helps a great deal when you have to sue them for infringement. If you don't mark it, it's almost not like having a trademark at all. That's why big companies use them all the time. And another interesting fact on those is if you get a registered trademark, but you don't use it regularly, or you simply don't use it, you have a product X, and you just don't put the R on it, and it becomes known as a generic product. That product name can become unregisterable and just a common use name. And a good example of that is thermos. Thermos was originally a registered trademark, but they didn't use their R0, and it became common for people to use the word thermos for anything that kept things warm or cold. The R circle is a federally registered trademark. It's good all over the United States generally, and it's kind of like a patent. It's the big daddy you want for a trademark. But if you can't get it, or if you're in the process of trying to get it, you can put a TM up near your name. And the TM means that you consider your name to be trademarked, even though it's not legally trademarked. And that comes out of state law, not federal law, because most states have a Trademark Act. It's just because it's state law and not federal law, it doesn't carry very much power. But that's what I would tell someone is put the TM right away and then file your application for a registered mark. And finally, trademarks are not limited to words. You can trademark a wide variety of things, such as pink, for the color of insulation. Owens Corning, their insulation is pink, and it doesn't have to be pink. You can't trademark something, by the way, that it has to be a certain way. It has to be a non-functional use, and so the pink just happens to be pink. They chose that as their brand. And so nobody else can produce pink insulation. You can also produce sounds. You can produce, like the Intel pom 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 is probably a registered trademark. You can produce, you can trademark basically anything that makes you stand out that's not confusingly similar to something else. So in conclusion, you probably almost certainly have a logo, and I'll be happy to talk to you about getting it registered. Just give me a call and we can have a free consultation. Thank you.